Good afternoon. So today I am going to take a few minutes to explain what is the situation for Baja California Sur regarding the status with the traffic light system that has been implemented to signify the alert level for the COVID-19 pandemic in the state of Baja California Sur. So a little bit of background. Mexico has three levels of government: the local or municipal government, which is represented by the mayors of each municipality. Within Baja California Sur, there are 5 municipalities. And then we have the state government, and that is, of course, headed by the governor. In Baja California Sur, the governor is Carlos Mendoza Davis. And then we have the federal government. Mexico's federal government is headed by the president, and currently Mexico's president is Andrés Manuel López Obrador, also referred to as AMLO. So if you heard in the news or in conversations that people talk about AMLO, they are referring to the president of Mexico. As it is the case with the rest of the world, the federal government supersedes the state and local governments. Nevertheless, they all have a coordinated and they work in coordination, and they work in order to guarantee the benefit of the population. So a little bit of background. Back in May 13, Mexico's federal government announced the traffic light system. And during that announcement, the Undersecretary of Health that has been managing the COVID pandemic, Mr. Lopez Gatell, said that this would be the guideline for the level of activities that would be allowed during the opening, the returning to the new normality. At that same conference, a little bit after, the president of Mexico said that this traffic light system would be a guideline, a reference for the state governments to define how to manage their very individual and specific situations within each state. In June 10, the Baja California Sur Health Safety Committee confirmed how the traffic light system would work for the state. And at the time, June 10, the state of Baja California Sur was still in level 6. That meant that only essential activities were allowed, with the inclusion of construction and mining. Then come June 15, we opened in level 5. As of level 5, Baja California Sur has been in, as of June 15, Baja California Sur has been in level 5. That is considered a critical level where non-essential activities are allowed, limited non-essential activities. That is why restaurants were allowed to open, but they had to have 4 square meters per patron, and then they had to have only 30% maximum capacity. They can only allow 30% of occupancy. And that applied for other things. The other thing that happened was that the beaches reopened. Basically, we have stayed in Baja California Sur at level 5 ever since. Now, last week, there was this announcement saying that Baja California Sur would go back to red. What happened was, the week before last, the federal government did not publish its map because they said there were inconsistencies in the numbers, and they decided to take a week off to figure out how to adjust those numbers. And last week, the map showed, when they did publish it, which was Friday night, they showed that Baja California Sur was in red, along with other states, and that the recommendation from the federal government was for the state of Baja California Sur to go back to level 6, which meant closing down hotels, closing down restaurants, closing down everything, basically, except for essential activities. What happened on Friday was that the State Health Safety Committee met, and they explained later on in a press conference that the federal government had changed the guidelines for determining the alert level, and they had put at a much higher level of importance the number of cases. The fact is that, as we all know, everybody that has been following the news and the numbers, in Baja California Sur, ever since activities reopened back in June 15, the numbers have continued to increase, which was to be expected because there are more people going out. And even though the authorities have continued to say, only go outside if you have to go, if it's basically an essential thing, a lot of people went out. People are going to the beach. People are returning to a new normality. And also, the safety board for health in the state has continued to conduct tests, so much so that in Baja California Sur, they are sampling at a higher level than in the rest of the country. In Baja California Sur, they have taken a total of 8,698 tests, and they test 1,081 people out of every 100,000 inhabitants. So they are almost at twice the level of the median for the country. In Mexico, they test 618 people for every 100,000 inhabitants. So in Baja California Sur, they're testing twice as many, and that's why the numbers, that's one other reason for the numbers to be higher. So based on that, the federal government determined that the number of cases was such that it required for the state to go back to red. Nevertheless, the Baja California Sur Health Safety Committee decided that because the occupancy at hospitals has not increased that much, and because there's still enough beds available in hospitals as well as respirators available, they decided to have the state continue at level 5, which means that hotels can still stay open at 30% occupancy, restaurants can stay open at 30% occupancy of their maximum capacity, beaches will stay open as well, at least for the municipality of Los Cabos, because as we commented a couple weeks ago, the municipality of La Paz decided to close down the beaches again. But for Los Cabos, the beaches will remain open for this week as well. And this past Friday, Governor Mendoza announced through his social networks that the state would officially stay in level 5, that is orange, for the week of July 20 through the 27th. I hope that this has been helpful and that you are a little bit clearer on why you might see that the federal government has determined that Baja California Sur is in red, but nevertheless, we are not going back to lockdown and we are staying in level 5, which is orange, which means some non-essential activities are allowed, and we can continue to move forward. Nevertheless, the health authorities in the state of Baja California Sur have stated that it's very important for everybody to act responsibly and to follow sanitary guidelines, to continue to stay home as much as possible, and to, of course, maintain social distancing when you are outside, wear your face mask, use antibacterial gel as much as possible. So if we all do what we have to do and we follow the guidelines, we can continue to move forward and hopefully get to level 1 in the not so distant future. Thank you.